right, look at that. Full rig ship running before the wind, big bow wave. That is a lovely.
At the main entrance to the homeowner's apartment, we're installing a full mortise, solid brass exterior latch. And here's one of the discussions. There'll be a key lock right here, and here are one of the knobs. They're installed in our MDF doors, which have been beautifully faux painted by master painter John D. Now, out at the main entrance to the building, in the original walnut doors, we have this very ornate hardware. It's a full mortise lock, and it's very decorative. Steve was out in San Francisco where they're made, and he saw the whole process.
Well, this is the Bayview section of San Francisco, and it's not too far from the airport. It's filled with all kinds of light industrial buildings like these that are much sought after by artists and craftsmen. Okay, 1790, this is where we're headed. Cirecast Corporation. Let's go meet Peter Morenstein. Well, Peter, this is a great old building. You got cartons of champagne in here. You got a couple of dogs roaming around. But show us some of your stuff. Wow, look at this. So this is your lineup, huh?
This is it. This is our regular product and some custom product.
Now, somehow I think this big old hinge is headed for Texas.
It certainly is.
It's
They know how to build big doors there.
Yes, sir. Look at that.
Here's something from Philip Corbin's house. Philip Corbin was the founder and owner of the Corbin Hardware Corporation in the late 1800s.
Now, is this the Corbin house that we visited on
That's the
Martha's
one.
Vineyard?
You betcha.
Wow, this is beautiful. What else you got?
I got a sailing ship from Boston.
All right, look at that. Full rig ship running before the wind, big bow wave. That is a lovely piece of hardware. Now, how about something like this?
That's a bit key lock. Bit key locks were common in the 1800s. And some of them are still being used.
So
This
you
is a
build the whole
reproduction.
thing,
We
the
make
innards
everything
and
right.
everything?
Yep, everything right here.
Wow, look at that. Now, so this is custom. You order it, you wait for it to be manufactured, right?
Yep.
What about these knobs up on the wall here?
Well, the 4 builders hardware suites are up here, and this is our lily pattern, and you might find that one familiar.
Did you ship this to us for
Yes.
our Bill Rickert
Yeah,
project?
that was for the project up there.
Oh, that is gorgeous. That was a big hit, I have to tell you.
Thanks.
So how do you get started making something like
Well,
this?
you need an original, and this is an original doorknob.
Where'd you find this?
I found it in a basement, hanging up with a bunch of other hardware. It was rescued out of buildings that were being torn down in the late 60s by an architect friend of mine.
So how do you go from this original to, oh, here it is, right here, to the new version of it?
Well, come on and I'll show you.
All right. So, Peter, how many employees and how many dogs?
2 dogs, 20 employees.
What's the next stop?
Pattern shop.
Oh, look at this. Looks like an artist studio in here. You got
This
a
is my home.
Skylight up on top here. All right. So, what's the next step in the operation here?
Okay, well, we have a doorknob that comes in 2 parts, a front and a back. So let's concentrate on the front.
Your dog is working hard too here.
He's a good mold maker.
All right.
First thing we do is we're going to embed the original knob in a layer of clay, and we're going to surround that with
Some masonite.
some masonite. Why don't you give me that piece right there, and make a little box,
Uh-huh.
and on 4 sides.
Right.
And then we're going to pour rubber in that little box, and when we're done, we'll have an apparatus that looks pretty much like this. There's the rubber, there's the walls, and inside is the door, the original doorknob.
The original doorknob.
Right.
Okay.
And after that's set, we're going to take the mold apart, pull the cottles off, take the original pattern out, and we'll wind up with an apparatus that looks a little like this. Don't pay any attention to the colors. Sometimes it's white, sometimes it's red. And from this device, we will pour multiple plastics. We will refine them. We will adjust their size so they're a little bit larger, and we'll wind up with 6 of those, which is an exact pattern that we're going to need to make this doorknob. And you can see one is larger than the other.
Why do you make them larger?
And because they shrink during the process. And we have to get to the exact size. The back is hollowed out so that we now have both sides of the mold to make. And then from this, we will build this apparatus. And this is a production mold with multiple cavities in it. And you can see on this side that we have the decoration, and on this side we have the back. There's the back, there's the decoration on the front. And so, when we're done with this mold, we'll take all these multiple patterns out. We don't need them anymore. We'll put them away in our archive, and we'll take this mold that's now all empty, and we'll close it up, and now it's ready to produce multiple wax patterns, and that's in another room.
Let's see you do that.
Okay. This is the wax room, Steve.
Wax room? It looks like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Well-
this stuff looks good enough to eat.
Well, I don't think it would be a good idea to try it, but it sure does look good.
What is this, Peter?
This is an escutcheon, this is wax, and this is an escutcheon plate for a state capitol that we're working on.
All right, so I got our mold. What are we going to do with it?
Okay, we're going to take it and we're going to fill it with wax. And we're going to do that over here on this wax spinning device, which is a centrifugal wax spinner. We'll put the mold in there. Put this cover plate on. Close the machine. And oh, by the way, that's the raw wax as it comes from the factory, and we melt it.
Uh-huh. So you just buy this commercially.
Just buy commercially. Turn the machine on.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
And you just
Take it over
ladle
here
it in
and
there?
just ladle some in.
Oh, I get it. Since the mold is spinning, as you pour the wax in, it is distributed into each of those chambers.
Right. Now it takes about 5 minutes to cool, so we'll just turn the machine off and let that one cool off. And
You got
we'll
one
come
over here that's ready? Boy, this dog really likes her ball, doesn't
He
she?
does. And so now we'll just put this apparatus, pull that off, open the mold. And sometimes they pop apart like that.
Uh-huh.
And we'll reach in there and pull one out. There it is.
Look at that.
Yep. And
So
that's a
that's
wax
what we're
pattern that
after.
we need, yes.
All right, onward.
Okay.
You know, I still say this stuff looks like chocolate. I'm
Yeah.
tempted to.
Well, you
No.
can take that one with you and nosh on it later on.
What's this lady doing?
This lady's building a gate assembly.
A
Olivia's
gate assembly?
Yes, she's going to assemble all the waxes on a tree.
So this tree is made out of wax as
It's
well,
all
right?
made out of wax.
And she is just sticking it together sort of like you would a candle to a candle holder.
Yes. All
Great.
these things have to be bound together rather tightly.
All right, what's next?
And here's what they look like when they're finished.
Wow. All right, all
Hold on
stuck
to
together.
that.
Looks like some extraordinary Christmas ornament.
Yep. And now we'll take that and we'll place it inside this flask.
And then what?
Then we'll pour plaster all over it, and that will make the mold for making the castings in metal. This is the investing room.
What's this gentleman doing?
Well, we're making hinges today, so he's pouring a liquid slurry of plaster, which he's just precisely mixed up onto these pieces, the patterns. He's placing the bell jar over it, and he'll de-air it to remove any air bubbles that are entrained or trapped on there, so we get good quality in the castings.
So in other words, you don't want a little bubble holding up your metal.
Right,
You can actually see the air coming out.
right. And after it sets up, we're going to take it over to the autoclave and lose the wax. After about 2 hours, we're going to bring the mold over here and put it inside this autoclave.
Now an autoclave is a sterilizer, right?
Right.
So what does it do for you?
It removes all the wax by melting it out.
Uh-huh. How
And
hot does it get in there?
About 350 degrees. And we capture it and recover it and recycle it.
So therefore the lost wax process.
Right.
Now you've got an empty negative mold. Is it ready for metal?
Not quite. Now it has to go over here to this furnace, and we put it in here, and it stays in here for about 16 hours. And when it comes out, it's ready for metal.
What's happening here, Peter?
Well, this is a furnace. Inside is a crucible, and we're finishing filling up the crucible with bars of red brass. And that's what Arturo's doing right now.
How hot is it in there?
About 2,300 degrees.
Wow. And that's what you use to cast.
That's the parts. Those will be the parts.
Is he skimming off the top now? What's he skimming off there?
He's putting in the copper phos shot, and that will make the metal fluid and very clean. He's stirring that in. That's the last inoculation. Now he's going to pull the lid off the furnace. And he's going to go get his lift tongs, and he's going to take the crucible out. There's the crucible with the molten metal in it.
Look at that. That is incredible. How hot is that?
About 2150 degrees. Puts a safety cap on it, lifts it up.
Now he's ready to pour, right?
He's going to come over here and he's going to pour it. Here we go.
Wow, look at that. So that metal is getting forced into all those tiny little molds. Huh?
That's right. Every part of the cavity is going.
So how long is this going to take to set up?
About 15 minutes, but we won't be able to do anything with it today. But we cast one earlier and we'll take a look at that now.
Great. What's this process?
Well, this process is breaking out. We're removing the parts from the flask. We're doing it on the floor. It's a lot more room to work. And all we're going to do is break the plaster away and take out the parts. And Ruben's just hitting the button and off everything falls.
Aren't you afraid you'll hurt the pieces by bashing on them?
No, he's not hitting the pieces, and they're very strong. All he's doing is hitting the bottom of the gate assembly, and that transfers vibration through and breaks the investment.
Now these are still sort of covered with plastic.
Yes, the next step, we'll sandblast all that off. Okay, what we have here is the sandblaster, and he's going to put the castings in there and hit them with the sand and clean all the plaster off.
Doesn't it damage the metal at all?
No, it doesn't have any damage to it at all. It just cleans it and gets it ready for the finishing room. The next step in the process is to add a little black patina to the surface, so we get a two-tone finish.
What do you use?
We use a chemical that just converts all the copper to copper oxide and makes the surface black.
So a little bit of freshwater wash. Oh wow, it turns black right away.
Instantly. Yeah, that's what it should look like. Now we're just going to buff off some of the black to get a two-tone effect.
Boy, that really cleans it up quick.
Yep, looks beautiful.
Beautiful job, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Final step is assembly, huh?
Yep, we're going to clamp a knob together.
Precision everywhere. This is the fussy part. So it just cranks down on it, huh?
Yep, just crushes in the seam.
Out it comes. All right, let's see the finished product. Wow, look at that. That is beautiful. I want one.
Well, all you got to do is cut me a check for $131.25.
Whoa, wait a minute. I just want the knob. I don't want the whole lock set.
Well, $131.25.
Well, with all the work that goes into it, Peter, it's cheap at half the price.
Funding for this old house is provided by